brand new Critical Role campaign has begun, and after just one episode, I already have my heart set on cosplaying Tyranny. Now, this is not going to be a quick project, so over the next however many weeks, I'll be tackling a new piece of this costume until it is done, and I will be starting today with the skirt. Okay, so the plan for making Tyranny's skirt is I am basically just going to make my Mau petticoat. So this is just based on an 18th century petticoat. So it's a rectangle, but it's gathered up on the waistline. The main difference being that on most 18th century petticoats, it is two pieces of fabric, and you've got two sets of ties. So you tie one of them in the front, and then you tie one of them in the back. This has a singular seam that goes in the back, and then I tie just from the back. And the reason this is going to work for Tyranny is because she has another layer of skirt that will go over like this and then just hide the opening in the back. And one of the reasons I want to do it like exactly like this basically is I think this shape is nice and flattering along the hip line. And then you get that volume at the bottom from the ruffle. And then obviously for Tyranny, there'll be a ruffle that goes on top of here as well. But that is the plan. So I'm gonna just measure out from the hemline how wide this rectangle is, as well as the length. And then I'm basically just going to replicate this. So I've done a French seam, and then around the opening I've just done a binding. So what I'm going to do now is gather down the top edge, ready to put a waistband onto it.
started to apply the waistband onto the top of the skirt. I just need to stitch this part down. I think I'm gonna start making the bottom ruffle because I finally got some more white thread, so I think I'm just gonna sit and do that this evening. So I'm getting ready to make the mint ruffle now. I'm using a silk dupe yarn for it, but I got secondhand. So what I need to do is, this is basically 2 times wider than I need it, because I'm going to fold it and then back it out so that the raw seam is on the inside, because the skirt is like ruffled asymmetrically, so that like there's a shorter bit on the top and then a longer bit on the bottom. I could have just hemmed both sides, but I decided to do it this way because it involves less sewing. So I need to just start folding it in half, and then I can do the seam. So before I start ruffling this section, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim down the raw edge here, and I turned the raw edge to the front on the skirt because once this is stitched down, it's basically going to go in place in a way where it will completely seal off and hide where that raw edge is. But currently this is just a little bit too thick, so I'm going to trim it down so that method of covering it is just more efficient. So I have decided as well, now that I've cut it, but I'm just really quickly going to tack down on the machine the now shortened raw edge. And I'm just gonna sew this in place because it's just gonna make things a little bit easier. So I have sewn the ruffle down onto the skirt, and now I am doing some beadwork into where the stitch line is. You can see a faint line of some kind of stitching or decoration on the ruffle, so I'm just doing a little bit of beadwork to make up the detail. So all I'm doing is quite simple, but it creates quite a cool effect. I take a cupped sequin, I then fold it in half, and then I'm going to tack it down in place on one side just to help it stay straight. And then I'm just going to finish setting it in place with a bead. And then I just get this line of this really cool effect. I kind of think they almost look like eyes, which I think works quite well for the vestments, seeing how there's some creepy stuff going on in this religion. So this is how Scat has turned out. I'm really happy with it. I think the shaping of it is really nice, especially around the hip line, which is really where I wanted. I didn't want it to be too bulky on the hips. And then it's got just enough of a flowy twirly factor in the bottom. I think it just weights really nicely. I don't know, it feels so cute. I'm so happy with it. I haven't finished all of the beading on the bottom because it's just gonna take a while. I just did kind of enough of a sample to show what it looks like. But I will finish that off whilst I'm working on the rest of the costume. So the next part I'm going to do is the other layer of skirt and also the bodice that it attaches onto. I have quite a lot of free reign with the bodice because it's covered by a lot of other stuff, so I think I'm going to have some fun kind of choosing the shape of it and then how it fastens together. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the first part of making Tyranny, and I hope you look forward to the future installments.